The Maestro.
Dirty.
Shots!
Why?
This is good. Let it go.
How about you hold it?
There's a lady in the way.
Yo, welcome to my dirty shorts. Ooh. Had to leave the window down for that one. Hey fam, how's everybody doing? Wonderful tournament this weekend, Hoops Heritage Tournament. Just a lot of great things happened, saw a lot of things, learned a lot of things. And, you know, a lot of the points that we were talking about earlier when the Talking Dirty with me earlier this week kind of came to fruition, because when it didn't happen, guess what? That team paid the price for it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but I'm going to give myself a grade on how I think I did this weekend, and I need you guys to follow with me and what you think about the grade I'm giving myself. The idea for so many teams this weekend, we know their identity, we know their brands. Let's just going to get this out the way. The AT Aliens, the home team, the one team that has their brand is assists, and they did not do that. They dropped an assist in both losses, scored 61 points both times, and only losing by a few possessions. What does that tell you? 2 more assists in each game means that those games are probably wins and not losses, because that turns around the possession that the other team would have scored, right? So them not doing that really hurt themselves. On the other side of the table, Queen City Kings, they handled what they were supposed to handle. They played strong enough, right? They won by 1 in the first game. They won by 1 in the second game, which means that they did just enough of what they needed to do by stopping the other team. And how did they build on it? The team that I picked as one of the favorites, this is where my grade goes down, was Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast, boo, 26 turnovers, losing by 1. What does that tell you? Any one of those turnovers could have been the difference between you winning the game or not winning the game. And that's just how it played. You really outplayed yourself in terms of that. You need to turn rebounds into points. You didn't do that. Give Queen City Kings credit, though. They made that happen in that first game. In the second game against DMV, it just felt like you guys never got your feet on the ground. Going back and forth, let's talk about DMV. The reality of their game is that, just to be quite frank about it, they were not able to turn their offensive rebounds into points like I hoped they were going to do. They did not force enough turnovers, but that game was so close because it became down a difference of 10 shots. Queen City Kings took 10 shots more than DMV. And the 10 shots more with a lower field goal percentage was the difference of this game. When DMV took more shots, I should say DMV had a higher percentage, but the fewer shots, which means they weren't able to get their points off the transition the way they wanted. They really were not able to get through the way they hoped they would get through. Southeast Select was strong across the table, and I'm going to talk about them, even though they did not win the tournament. I'll talk about one of their players here at the end of this, in terms of who stood up all day for his team, but to show that you got to have help to do it, otherwise it's not going to work. On the other end of it, though, the Yacht Club played their game all day long, right? They played strong transition game. They played strong, absolutely everything. They did everything they were supposed to do. They were able to get assists. They were able to be a plus on the rebounds. They shot really well from 3. But the one thing that I did not even talk about that they did, I'm going to give myself the down points on this because it's something that I did not even consider they would do, is they brought a defensive game that was very impressive. They got blocks across the table, and that's not really their brand, but they were able to do that, and making it work the way they did was so impressive. As a team, they played so strong, so many people helping in so many different spots. Their 2 bigs appearing the way they did, being able to pass the way they did. You know, Kenyon Young, Darius McBride, just everyone, Anthony Simmons, England, everything was just clicking for that team, and it shows you in their point output for the day, right? Yacht Club earlier scored 72 points, and then in their very next game, they scored 52. Big drop-off, and they lost to Southeast Select. We'll get to the rematch here in a minute. And then what did they do? They scored 88 and 88 in the semifinals and the finals game, which means they found their groove as they're supposed to find their groove. Meanwhile, they were able to find a way. Southeast Select played their game. They only scored 1 point more. They scored 1 point more than they did in their first game against the Yacht Club, which means they had their strength going all day. I'm going to talk about that now. But the Yacht Club was able to maintain in a complete team game. They were able to maintain themselves enough to overcome not only the deficit from the loss early in the day, but also to be able to take advantage of Southeast Select playing pretty much close to their top brand game. They were able to overcome them. The player that impressed me the most throughout the day, that means he showed up for every single game, win or loss, and that was KJ Hills. KJ Hills showed what this tournament is about in terms of he brought a top-notch game from points, rebounds, assists, steals, even some blocks here and there throughout the day. And that's what you're looking for, a player that can play at a level, maintain that level, be successful at that level. And he did everything he was supposed to keep this team into it. He did not stat hunt. He did not go after certain things in certain ways that you might assume would happen. And that just showed me the character of the person. More importantly, it showed me that his ability is just going to grow. And I'm going to say this, like I always say to someone who has a performance like this throughout the day in every game, man, that's your baseline. That's your baseline for now. No, I'm going to expect that because you play to where you are. I think a play to above to where you are, and that means you're just growing, and that's what we want to see. Thank you for sharing that great performance today, top marks. Even though I know it was a loss in the championship game, you better hold your head, kid, because you did a good job. Anyway, everybody else, you know the deal. Holla at your boy. Think about how I graded myself. Tell me what you want to think about. Tell me how you want to think about it. Tell me when you want to think about it when we talk about it. Let's do what we got to do. And hopefully you had fun this weekend. Can't wait for coming up next week. You know how we're gonna get down with it next week, right? In the hardwood hustle. AT Aliens. You took an 0-2 at home this week. You're playing again next week. Gotta make it count, boo. Come on now. Let's do what we gotta do. Everybody else, you know the deal. Never let Jason Bourne borrow your car.
Oh, wait, do you want me to read?
Thank you again for checking out the Maestro's Durty
Shorts.
Drop a tag below and give us a piece of your mind.
The Maestro. Durty.